The arrival of the Overlord. In the vast emptiness of space, a colossal ship emerged from the darkness, its sleek, metallic surface reflecting distant stars. This was the command vessel of Emperor Selgar, an intergalactic conqueror known for his ruthlessness. Selgar's eyes, cold and calculating, scanned the blue planet below. To him, Earth was nothing more than a primitive world ripe for the taking. On Earth, the skies were clear, and people went about their daily lives, unaware of the impending threat. Selgar's ship descended through the atmosphere, casting a long shadow over the bustling city of New Haven. The ship landed with a resounding thud, sending a shockwave that rattled the ground. The city's defenses were no match for such an overwhelming presence. Commander Jack Harper, leader of Earth's elite defense unit, observed the alien vessel from his command post. His face was stern, his mind racing with strategies. Earth's technology might seem rudimentary compared to Selgar's, but Jack knew that human ingenuity could turn the tide. As the alien overlord stepped out of his ship, his arrogance was palpable. Selgar's presence exuded an aura of superiority. His voice, amplified by his advanced suit, boomed over the city. "Humanity, you stand before me, a species barely deserving of notice. Surrender now, and you will be spared." Jack's team, hidden in the shadows, prepared for the inevitable. They had trained for moments like this, though the reality was far more daunting. Jack stepped forward, his voice steady as he replied, "Welcome to Earth, Emperor Selgar. We're ready to show you what we're made of." The alien's laughter echoed as he retreated to his ship, leaving the city in a tense silence. Jack signaled his team to deploy the surveillance drones. The tiny devices, almost invisible, buzzed out of hidden compartments, heading straight for the alien ship. Their mission was clear: gather intel and find a way to outsmart the seemingly invincible Selgar. The battle begins. Night fell, and the city lay under a blanket of darkness. Selgar, confident in his superiority, settled in for a night of rest aboard his ship. Unbeknownst to him, Jack and his team were tirelessly analyzing the drone feeds. The alien's vessel, with its advanced technology, was a fortress, yet the drones revealed potential weaknesses. Selgar's ship emitted a low hum, its power systems in full operation. Jack's eyes narrowed as he watched the screens. The ship's energy cores and communication arrays were vulnerable to a well-placed strike. Jack's team worked silently, preparing an attack that would exploit these weaknesses. As dawn approached, Selgar's forces began their assault. Ground troops, clad in advanced armor, marched towards key locations in the city. They were met with a chaotic scene. Power outages, disrupted communications, and sabotaged supply lines. Jack's team had struck swiftly and efficiently. The alien soldiers were thrown into disarray. They had expected an easy conquest, but Earth's defenders were proving to be a formidable foe. Explosions rocked the battlefield as Jack's team launched a series of coordinated attacks. The once pristine cityscape was now a battleground, filled with fire and debris. Despite their advanced weaponry, Selgar's forces struggled to adapt. Jack's tactics were unconventional, exploiting the aliens' lack of knowledge about Earth's terrain and infrastructure. The city's defenders fought with a fierce determination, their resolve strengthening with every alien defeat. As the sun set, Selgar's frustration grew. His troops, once confident, were now retreating in confusion. The alien overlord's plans were unraveling, and his belief in an easy victory was rapidly fading. Turning the tide. With the alien forces in retreat, Selgar's anger reached a boiling point. He ordered his remaining troops to regroup and launch a counterattack. The city was now a war zone, with fires blazing and smoke filling the air. Selgar, determined to crush the resistance, deployed his most advanced combat units. The ground shook as massive mech suits emerged from the alien ship. These towering machines were equipped with devastating weaponry. Their purpose clear: annihilate the human resistance. Selgar's confidence surged as he watched his mechs advance, their heavy steps causing the earth to tremble. Jack and his team, however, were prepared. They had anticipated this escalation and had been working on a countermeasure. Hidden beneath the city, a series of EMP devices were primed and ready. As the mechs approached, Jack's team took their positions, their faces set with determination. With a signal from Jack, the EMP devices activated, sending a pulse through the air. The mechs, caught off guard, began to falter. Their systems shut down, and the once unstoppable machines were rendered inert. Jack's team sprang into action, their rifles blazing as they dismantled the alien pilots. Selger's frustration was palpable. His once fearsome mechs now lay in ruins, their pilots dragged from their wreckage by the victorious humans. The alien overlord watched in disbelief as his plans crumbled before his eyes. His confidence was replaced by a growing sense of dread. The battle raged on, but the tide had turned. The humans, bolstered by their unexpected success, fought with renewed vigor. Selger's forces, demoralized and disorganized, struggled to maintain their foothold. The city, though scared, stood resilient against the alien onslaught. The battle in the forest. As Selger's forces regrouped, the battle shifted to the outskirts of the city. Dense forests and rugged terrain provided cover for the alien troops. Selger, determined to regain control, led a new offensive into the woods. His advanced sensors and weapons were intended to flush out the human resistance. Jack and his team, however, were already in position. They had retreated into the forest, using the natural cover to their advantage. Their tactics were now focused on guerrilla warfare, striking swiftly and disappearing before the aliens could retaliate. The forest echoed with the sounds of battle. Selger's troops, accustomed to urban warfare, were ill-prepared for the challenges of the woodland environment. Jack's team used their knowledge of the terrain to launch ambushes and hit-and-run attacks. The aliens, disoriented and outmatched, struggled to adapt. Selger, enraged by the persistent resistance, ordered his troops to press forward. His frustration was evident as he fired blindly into the underbrush, his weapons tearing through the forest. The once serene woods were now a chaotic battleground, filled with the sounds of gunfire and explosions. Jack's team continued their assault, their movements precise and calculated. They used the forest's natural obstacles to their advantage, creating traps and distractions that further frustrated the alien forces. Selger's once unshakable confidence was replaced by a growing sense of unease. As the battle wore on, the forest became a graveyard for Selger's troops. The aliens, once confident in their superiority, were now facing a determined and resourceful enemy. The humans' tactics, combined with their intimate knowledge of the terrain, had turned the tide once again. The final confrontation. With the forest battle proving costly, Selger decided to take matters into his own hands. He ventured into the heart of the conflict, determined to confront the human resistance directly. The dense forest concealed his movements as he searched for the source of the relentless attacks. Jack, aware of Selger's approach, prepared for the final confrontation. His team had set up a series of ambushes, ready to strike at the alien overlord when he least expected it. The atmosphere was tense as both sides prepared for the decisive battle. Selger emerged from the forest, his armor gleaming in the dim light. He was met with a barrage of gunfire, but his advanced shields absorbed the impact. The alien overlord advanced, his eyes scanning for his adversaries. Jack's team, though outnumbered, fought with unwavering determination. The battle reached its climax as Selger and Jack faced off in a clearing. The alien overlord, driven by anger and desperation, launched a relentless assault. Jack, though exhausted, held his ground, his resolve unshaken. The two leaders clashed in a fierce combat, their movements a blur of energy and precision. The forest around them was a battlefield, with explosions and gunfire creating a chaotic backdrop. Despite the odds, Jack's team pressed on, their support unwavering. The final confrontation was not just a fight for survival, but a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. As the battle raged on, Selger's confidence began to wane. The humans' tenacity and resourcefulness had pushed him to the brink. His once unshakable arrogance was replaced by a growing realization of his own vulnerability. The tide of the battle had turned, and victory was within reach for Earth's defenders. The unexpected ally. As Selger's forces faltered, a new development emerged. Among the alien ranks was a figure who had been watching the conflict unfold with growing unease. This was Zoreth, a former advisor to Selger who had grown disillusioned with the Emperor's conquest. Zoreth, the alien defector, had proven himself a crucial asset to Jack and his team. His intimate knowledge of Selger's ship and its systems gave humanity a fighting chance they desperately needed. Under the cover of night, Jack's team set their plan into motion, fully aware of the risks involved. The forest was quiet, save for the distant sounds of the diversionary attacks designed to draw Selger's forces away from their true target. Jack and his squad, equipped with stealth technology and a determination forged in the crucible of battle, made their way toward the alien ship's docking bay. Zoreth's guidance was invaluable as they navigated the ship's labyrinthine corridors. The ship, a towering behemoth of alien design, was a maze of high-tech systems and heavily guarded areas. Zoreth led them through hidden passages and ventilation shafts, avoiding patrols and security cameras with the precision of someone who had once been part of the enemy's inner circle. As they approached the power core, Jack's heart raced. The core was the heart of Selger's ship, and destroying it would cripple the entire invasion force. The core chamber was heavily fortified, guarded by elite alien soldiers, and protected by advanced security systems. Jack's team set up their equipment, preparing for the task ahead. Zoreth, who had once been a high-ranking officer, used his insider knowledge to bypass the security protocols. The team worked swiftly but cautiously, knowing that any misstep could lead to their undoing. Suddenly, the ship's alarms blared. An unexpected security breach had triggered an alert. Zoreth's face turned pale as he realized the gravity of the situation. "We've been compromised," he shouted. "We need to move now." Jack's team sprang into action. The ship's corridors were now a battleground as alien soldiers poured in to confront the intruders. The humans fought fiercely, their weapons blazing as they defended their position. Zoreth, fighting alongside them, proved his loyalty and skill, taking down enemies with deadly precision. Despite the chaos, Jack remained focused on their objective. The countdown to the explosive's detonation was ticking down, and they couldn't afford to be delayed. With the core's defenses breached, Jack and his team placed the final charges, setting the timer for their escape. The tension was palpable as they made their way back to the extraction point. The ship's interior was a scene of pandemonium, with explosions and fires erupting as the diversionary attacks reached their climax. Jack's team fought their way through the chaos, their determination unwavering. As they neared the exit, Zoreth looked back at the destruction they had wrought. His face was a mix of relief and regret. "This is for the better," he said, his voice tinged with emotion. "Selger's tyranny ends here." With the charges set and the power core on the brink of destruction, Jack and his team made their final push for freedom. They emerged from the ship's docking bay, barely escaping the explosion that followed. The night sky lit up with the fiery wreckage of Selger's ship, signaling the end of the alien threat. The alien forces, witnessing the devastation, fell into disarray. Selger's leadership was shattered, and the remaining troops, now leaderless and demoralized, surrendered to the advancing human forces. The tide of battle had turned decisively in humanity's favor. In the aftermath, Zoreth stood with Jack and his team, the city of New Haven still smoldering in the distance. "Thank you," Zoreth said quietly, "for giving me a chance to make things right." Jack nodded, his expression one of quiet determination. "We couldn't have done it without you." As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, Jack looked out at the battered city, now a symbol of humanity's resilience. The battle was won, but the cost had been high. The scars of the conflict would remain, but so would the lessons learned and the bonds forged in the heat of battle. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious. With the alien threat vanquished and the city beginning its slow recovery, there was a renewed sense of hope and unity. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Humanity had proven itself a force to be reckoned with, capable of overcoming even the most insurmountable odds. Humanity's triumph. As the explosion from Selger's destroyed power core illuminated the night sky, the ship's once imposing silhouette was now a fiery wreckage. The shockwave from the blast reverberated through the battlefield, shaking the ground and scattering the alien forces. The tide of the conflict had decisively turned in humanity's favor. Jack and his team, having narrowly escaped the destruction, regrouped with the rest of the human forces. The diversionary attacks had served their purpose, leaving Selger's remaining troops disoriented and leaderless. The alien army, now without direction and morale, was swiftly surrendering or fleeing. In the midst of the chaos, Jack received a transmission from the command center. Selger's ship is down. The enemy is in disarray. We're getting reports of mass surrenders. The voice crackled over the comms. Relief and elation washed over Jack, but he knew the battle was not yet completely over. The human forces advanced cautiously, securing key positions and rounding up remaining alien soldiers. The once feared alien invaders were now the ones retreating. Selger, however, had not yet shown himself. Jack knew that the alien overlord would make one last desperate attempt to salvage his failing invasion. In the heart of the battlefield, Jack spotted a familiar figure, Zorath. The former alien officer was now an ally, his once hardened demeanor softened by the reality of their victory. "We did it," Zorath said, his voice tinged with a mixture of pride and exhaustion. But Selger won't give up easily. As if on cue, a new signal appeared on the tactical displays. Selger was making his move. The alien overlord, cornered and furious, had boarded a heavily armed personal craft, intending to launch a final assault. His craft was equipped with advanced weaponry, making it a formidable threat even in the face of his crumbling forces. Jack knew that stopping Selger was crucial to ensuring a lasting peace. He assembled a small elite team, including Zorath, to intercept the alien craft. They raced across the battlefield, heading towards the craft's last known location. The tension was palpable. This would be the final confrontation. The personal craft, a sleek and menacing vessel, hovered above the battlefield, firing its weapons indiscriminately. Jack's team approached from a concealed position, utilizing the cover of the wreckage and smoke to stay out of sight. As they neared the craft, they prepared for a decisive strike. Zorath, leading the way, provided critical intel on the craft's vulnerabilities. The team moved with precision, coordinating their efforts to disable the craft's weapons and engines. They used EMP grenades and cutting-edge technology to neutralize the threat, all while dodging Selger's desperate attacks. Inside the craft, Selger's rage was palpable. The once mighty conqueror, now reduced to a cornered animal, fought fiercely. But Jack and his team were relentless. They breached the craft's defenses and engaged Selger in a fierce battle. The alien overlord, though powerful, was no match for the coordinated assault of the humans and their alien ally. Jack faced Selger in the final showdown. The fight was intense, a clash of wills and skills. Selger, blinded by rage and desperation, fought with all his might, but Jack's determination and combat experience gave him the upper hand. With a final, decisive blow, Jack overpowered Selger, bringing an end to the alien overlord's reign of terror. As Selger lay defeated, the remaining alien forces surrendered or fled. The battle was won, and humanity had triumphed against overwhelming odds. The city of New Haven, though scared, stood as a testament to the resilience and courage of its people. The humans, now victorious, began the process of rebuilding and recovery. The scars of the conflict were visible, but so were the signs of hope and renewal. Jack, Zorath, and their allies looked out over the city, their spirits lifted by the knowledge that they had defended their world and secured a future for generations to come. Zorath, now a symbol of redemption and cooperation, worked alongside the humans to integrate alien technology and knowledge, strengthening their defenses and preparing for any future threats. The collaboration between humans and aliens, once an unlikely alliance, had become a powerful force for peace and progress. Jack reflected on the journey, from the initial underestimation of humanity by the alien invaders to their ultimate victory. The story of Earth's triumph was one of unity, resilience, and the unyielding spirit of its people. As the dawn of a new era broke over the horizon, the people of Earth embraced the future with renewed hope and determination. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged not only victorious but stronger and more united than ever before. The story of their triumph would be remembered as a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity, proving that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds, they could rise to any challenge and secure their place in the stars.